This is the North American continent where we live today. Many hundreds of years ago, life in North America was very different than it is today. The first people who lived in North America are known as Native Americans. The Native Americans lived in groups called tribes in different regions of North America. There were no stores like we have now, so they had to find or make everything they needed to survive, whether it was food to eat, clothing to wear, or a house in which to live. Hundreds of years later, a European explorer by the name of Christopher Columbus sailed and reached North America, but that was not where he had planned to go. Columbus set sail from Europe, hoping to find a quicker way to reach India and China, where spices, gold, and other riches were plentiful. But in 1492, when Columbus actually reached land after he sailed the ocean blue, he and his crew did not arrive in India or China. They landed instead in North America, where they met the native people who lived there. After Columbus, sailors from different countries in Europe traveled to North America. Portugal, Holland, Spain, France, and England all sent explorers to North America, continuing to hope to find riches and goods that they might bring back to trade and sell in Europe. Everyone was interested in this new world. The English did not want to just visit the new world. They were interested in starting settlements in order to live there. They wanted a place for their people to spread out from their small island country. England, across the Atlantic Ocean, you probably remember that English pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock in the 1600s, about 100 years after Columbus. The Pilgrims had great difficulty adjusting to their life in the New World because it was very different from the city life they knew in Europe. The Native Americans that the Pilgrims met helped them survive, especially during that first year. The Pilgrims were not the only English people to start settlements in North America. In fact, before the Pilgrims ever arrived at Plymouth, the other Englishmen and women had settled in two other places. The first English colony was Roanoke Island, followed by a colony at Jamestown. A colony is a place that is ruled by a faraway country. So the English men and women who moved to and settled Roanoke Island and Jamestown did not make their own rules or laws. The English king and government ruled the colonies. As time passed, more and more settlers from Great Britain arrived in North America. All up and down the east coast of North America, they formed more colonies, where they started new lives for themselves. By 1732, there were 13 British colonies in North America. They were Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. The British did not accomplish the hard work of setting up colonies all by themselves. They especially needed lots of help to clear the farm and the land. European ships brought people taken from the continent of Africa to work in the New World. The first Africans to arrive at Jamestown were probably indentured servants. This meant that they were forced to work with no pay for the English colonists for a certain number of years. During this time, the Africans were not free to live or work anywhere else until they had finished working for the agreed-upon number of years. After that time, they were free to live and work where they wanted and be paid for that work. As the British colonies grew, more and more workers were needed. Before long, many people from Africa were forced to come to North America and were no longer treated as indentured servants. They were slaves. The slaves did not have any freedom enjoyed by the colonists. They could not leave their farms without permission, and it was against the law for anyone to teach a slave to read or write. As the colonists settled in the colonies, more changes were to come.